Hello, my name is Jorge Valles and I created this tool for box stacking using the PCG Framework for procedural content generation in Unreal Engine 5. And this tool is intended for the creation of warehouses scenarios or populating shelves or that kind of stuff in a very quick way. So let's get started and see how it works. The tool is divided in three main sections, but for now we are going to focus on the first one, the creation stage. For this, the only thing that we have to do is to focus on the ground of our scene and press this button. This button will immediately create a box stacking system with a predefined set of assets and a predefined size. So if we click on any of these boxes, we will see a volume appearing. And this volume is the actual range of action of this system. We can scale it, we can rotate it, or we can also lift it in order to put it above a shelf or something like that. The second section of the tool is the controls. Here we can define how ordered or disordered our stack must be. So if we take this slider and move it completely to the left, we will have a perfect ordered stack of boxes. But we can also have a complete mess if we move the slider to the right. Or we can have any in between. So let's try some values like this. Or maybe a bit more, or maybe a bit more. Next, due to the fact that we are working with random generation, we need a value that gives us variation. So that's the purpose of the seed. If we move this slider, we will obtain different results. And finally, for the cases when we have a complete mess, sometimes we don't want these assets to be scattered outside of the volume. So for this, we can check this option that will constrain the scattering to the actual bounding. Finally, we have the assets section of the tool where we can define the actual assets that are going to be used in the system. So in order to demonstrate that, I'm going to start by removing some of these assets and see how it refreshes everything on demand. If we get rid for some reason of all the assets, it will show these default boxes until we assign a new asset back. When adding new assets, we can go as crazy as we want. So let's try by adding some stuff. For example, we can try with crate. Then let's try by adding a table. What about adding a new table? Or maybe we can go even crazier and add something like locker. And there you go. It's important to mention that the order of stacking depends on how big is the object, but not on its total volume. It's only considering the base area. So objects with wider bases are going to be the ones that are going to be used on the bottom part of the stack. So a thing that we do have control on is the number of repetitions of each asset in this stack. So for example, let's go and focus on this chest right here, the red chest. I can go to that asset and specify that I want 3 repetitions. Or maybe you know what? Maybe I want this table right here to appear 4 times. As we can see, right now the top assets disappeared, but that's because we have the outside cooling option enabled. So that meaning that everything that is outside is going to be discarded, but that's easily fixed by just scaling a bit our volume. Let's try finally incrementing the frequency of this tiny box. So I'm going to tell that I want 10 repetitions of that type of box. Of course, this scenario is not realistic, but demonstrates the point. You can achieve very natural stacks or go as crazy as you want. Finally, I have to mention that if you click on the system and focus on the details panel, you will see a set of ISM components right here. In this case, we have 5 ISM components because we are using 5 different types of boxes. As a reminder, the ISM component is a component that allows you to make duplicates of a mesh with different location, positions, and scale, and draw everything together in a very performant way. So, in short words, all of these boxes are not individual actors, but instead they are packed inside the actors that owns the stacking system in ISM components. Thank you very much for watching. This is version 1 of the tool. I know that there are many things to improve, but for now I think that it behaves pretty decent. So if you want to know more about the progress of this tool in the future, or if you want to know more about what I do, just follow me on ArtStation or LinkedIn. Thanks.